they stay. And screw bans. We're straight into picks. Anyone's Legend this time going to go for the Zins out because RNG did adapt. RNG did take away the Corki pick.
Yeah, they did. At least that's a start, right? But Xiao Hao in game number 1, you were complimenting him for good reason, guys. The first 15 minutes, he was everywhere, as Lyric just said, and he gets the same pick that he absolutely dominated Way on. So I want to see which direction RNG going this time, because it was a Trindamir's second pick on Red side, which is very liable to change.
Oh, it's definitely not going to show its face again. It's just the fact that the Corki isn't open. That was specifically picked into that matchup. Now with the Corki banned out, RNG wanting to pick something a little bit, I'd say, easier to execute in terms of like, hey, we're going to be the team that plays a bit further back, looking for that kiting, looking for that team fight. Now for Anyone's Legend, we're going to see where Maple wants to go with it. Last time around, he did opt for the Zoe into the Victor matchup. That is banned away. Right now, hovering the Orianna. A bit of a handshake in lane. You do lose early. You do have more proactive picks open that theoretically could go into the Victor. Things like the Vex and just try to be like, okay, it's going to be pretty much a null matchup early on. I'm just going to look to move around the map and skirmish and look to play with my jungler. So for Anyone's Legend, I think that might be the way to go. Right now, locking in the Jinx, so having another hyper carry feels quite good. And now, yeah, it seems like with the fact that RNG picked up mid, no reason to show something else. Just answer mid right now. Don't let yourself get banned out in that second phase. And they are going to still opt with a champion that can be proactive in terms of map movements.
This is a cool little pick that Maple's picked up in the past. Remember, we were just looking at highlights from him in 2016 at Worlds, where Maple was dominating on this pick. So nice to see that the man brings back something that is very much in his comfort zone. While for RNG, if you're speaking comfort, Way on the J4 gives you the same vibe.
Oh yeah, I will. This will always be the champion I associate with Way. If you watched E-Star in 2020, this will always be the champion implanted in your brain for Way, because they picked it almost every single game. They were on a massive winning streak, then suddenly it gets banned, and yeah, E-Star was not the same team as they were before. So bring out the Jarvan, punishing the immobile carries on the opposite side of both Ryze and Jinx. Gonna lock them down, try and combo that with the Moonlight Vigil and the Chaos Storm. 2 went out in these extended 5v5s, and now gonna take away some of these safer blind top lane picks. And I wonder if RNG will still just want to lean into blind picking their support. A lot of teams have leaned into blind picking top, especially with the rise of Gragas. But RNG, to me, with having been, strikes as a team that still will be like, okay, we still just 4-pick Nautilus or Leona, and then save that last pick for Bin.
But do they take away one support from Anyone's Legend? Because with no support bans coming through, it's like RNG have their pick of the litter if they can just take one here. Gwen mentioned already banned the Jace as well, naturally. I'm just going to count us down, because in 1 second, there's the Gragas. So all supports thrown to the wall, they don't care. They are just going to make sure that there's nothing that neutralizes, as you were talking before.
It'd be pretty nice in my mind for RNG to take away the Thresh. The fact that you do have, you know, Jinx and Aphelios, 2 champions that love to be paired with Thresh, but on the opposite side, you don't want to be giving them the Lantern to be able to escape the Cataclysm. I think feels pretty massive, so maybe go for a Thresh pick on 4, accept the consequences of whichever way Anyone's Legend decide to go with the counter pick on support, and then get a nice matchup in the top lane.
Well said. The Thresh going to be locked in. Lyric with the 5-head, and I think more importantly, Anyone's Legend with a bit of 5-head as well. We saw Bin on the Aksha on top, and they're suspecting something here, so Lyric, what's left is a safe blindable top that you do for Anyone's Legend?
Ooh, I'm actually curious to see. Looks like they're favoring the Graves right now. Their composition is pretty indexed, I think, into side lanes more than the RNG's is, so you could always opt into something that can push out, like a Camille matchup. And again, just opt for a losing matchup against something like a Jax, but they were able to muscle through it last time around. So we'll see. They do in the end decide to just go with the Graves. It will be able to generate its own pressure in lane, and they are going to be playing more of this 1-4 style with Ryze, trying to put some pressure on the Victor later on, and then turning it into these team fights based around Betty in the bottom side. And for Anyone's Legend, that's what it's been all about, so it makes sense. RNG going to go with the counter pick we saw starting at Worlds with the Jax into the Graves.
So what do you look at for RNG? Because we know Jack's about the side lane too. Are we just gearing up for a 1-4 on RNG's side as well?
Yeah, I think we have 2 very similar compositions coming out. RNG, I think, will have some more earlier pick options available to them for the fact they do have the Thresh Jarvan unlocked. But once we get Realm Warp open for Maple, it's going to be all about the mid-jungle combo coming out for the side of anyone's Legend. So I think holistically, very similar identities, especially the way we're going to function in the late game. Okay. It's going to just be, okay, Bin pushing one side, Maple pushing the other, both of you rotating towards mid, and then these big explosive 5v5s around objectives.
But again, coming back to your point you just mentioned, in anyone's Legend, the explosive mid-jungle duo, or not explosive, but rather mobile, I should say, with the Realm Warp. But I want to say what happened in game number 1 was that Xiaohao made good use of his pressure down in the bottom lane. We first saw him in the jungle. He punished Wei with first blood. He then picked up another kill. I believe it was through that mid lane as well, Eric. Was it mid? How's my brain going? It was somewhere. But the point stands that Xiaohao got ahead early, and then he gave it all to Betty. So Maple, if he can help that out, we're once again going to have a repeat of one of the most aggressive junglers in the LPL. Firing up anyone's Legend for a potential win. Lyric, I can feel it, dude. I'm sure you can too.
You know, I'm starting to feel a bit of the mojo. Anyone's Legend, the Panda Samurai team.
Yeah.
That no one believed in. That definitely has the coolest logo in the LPL by far. If they could 2-0 RNG, that would be huge. I don't care about the early form RNG is in. If you would have shown me this roster of anyone's Legend and say, hey, they're going to take a series off RNG, I would have never believed you. Coming in off to a great start, sitting at 1-0. I think having a pretty good grasp of what champions are strong so far in this meta is Chocho. Trying to be a bit cheeky, wants Xiao to walk forward to see if he can find that pick, and anyone's Legend overall looking for a bit of an invade.
It was a flag that spotted him out there from Wei, so it's going to be ward for ward in case anyone's Legend find a more creative path around to red. They'll back off and be granted information towards Wei's Jarvan. But Lyric, you know, coming into game number 2, again, folks, remember it was only one game. Anyone's Legend have to keep that up. And coming into this second game, that's why I want to talk more about the jungle pathing to start us off, because Wei will be going towards blue. You can see towards the bottom side, Xiaohao's also reset to start on the same side of the map. So, Lyric, I feel like with what you talked about, we will be looking at the junglers for early impact.
Yeah, and which lanes are going to be looking to influence, right? Both sides heading up towards that top side right now. We have seen if Finn can find some of those aggressive heavy trades with the E, he will be able to fight back against ZVZ and get some pressure off for himself. We're seeing mid lane right now. Victor doing incredibly well into the Rise matchup. I mean, you outrange him. Level 1. Victor Q level 1 is one of the strongest level 1 abilities in the game with the amount of damage you're able to output with the shield that you get back as well. So we expect to see this. We know Maple is going to be playing more for the map and not for himself.
Nice to see, right? You know, if Maple can, again, influence the map, then we're talking good news here for anyone's Legend. But Xiaohu is going to bully him out for the time being, and having hit level 2 first, falls on that. Ming gets stretch lined in. With little aftershock on Chocho means he takes no return damage, and it's just Ming who takes the front from Betty on the way through. So we're getting trading across different parts of the map here as junglers move up towards the top side. For now, they'll be unspotted.
Yeah, we're going to see jungler. Oh, I'm going to pause. Okay, bot lane looks fine. But ZVZ having pressure level 1, you know, Bin not having access to his all-in tools of E and the Q combo, being able to get on top of ZVZ, so we will get the initial push towards top side. We're going to see what Xiaohao does with this, because he's making his way up through Tribrush right now. I think he's going to look for Wei.
A jungle for jungle at this point. As Wei walks in. Lens? Yep. Spots him out. Wei walks right into Xiaohao. Wind becomes lightning. And look at Bin at the same time. Double flash comes through, but against the turret, Wei might just be dead. He goes back on in, and he's lucky to get out of there. Bin burns his as well. 1 flash for 2. Anyone's Legend first to the chase again.
And Xiaohao going to be able to steal away from some camps as well, right? Can make his way over to those scrubs, take those away because he knows that Wei needs to back. So nice advantage being built up. Anyone's Legend, it looks like they're posturing for it, but their wave's going to be taken down really low. I don't think they actually can look for this just yet. And we know if TPs were available, potentially you set this up right. If Maple could back a TP to a minion, bam, that would have been a 3-man die for sure. But yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
That's sad.
No dives.
That's really sad. TP only as the turret means that we got to wait till 14 minutes for anything as explosive as we expected in the first. I can't remember when it was. I think we've had 3 or 4 minute TPs. 4 people down to the bottom lane Lyric. Like, it's happened at level 2 for sure a couple of times in the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, you can still do it to cover dives, right? Like, if the enemy mid lane or some, like, aggressive pushing combo, like a Syndra Zinzao or something, and you have a Victor and you're on the back foot, and they run down, okay, they're looking for the dive, bam, you can use your TPs to defend that play, so we can see a massive play towards the bot lane. Just, we can't see these same aggressive dives coming in early on. And, you know, I want to bring focus a little bit back to the mid lane matchup because Xiaohu's been doing incredibly well, has been up quite a bit of CS. Maple having to go for that earlier reset. Still waiting for him to hit that level 6 mark. Xiaohu holding on to his TP, so should be looking for a reset quite soon. Let's look at Xiaohu. What's he doing his stairs?
On top of Raptors, he's level 4, but Ming has made the roam as well. Now, I believe Ming was spotted out as he moves on up. He doesn't have mobility boots, but he's still fast enough here as a support. RNG wrapping around, but Xiaohu's picked up the camp. He's going to back in this bush, and RNG just giving deeper vision control at this point. Lyric, I want to see if they wrap towards mid and catch Maple off guard.
So I think what they were thinking there was that Xiaohu would make his way from his Raptors to his Krugs, so they're going to try and wait in the path he's going to take, find the pick-off. They don't go for it. So they do decide to back off in the end. Moving towards mid, we see now why they probably opted out of that one. Xiaohu having no mana still. Again, sitting on his reset, so we'll be able to come back to lane a bit stronger than Maple since he has held his reset longer. We'll have more gold compared to Maple, who was able to just back and buy that tier. And we're going to see both teams start pivoting down, playing towards this bottom side once again. Ming does have access to things like the flash play into lantern play to set up Wei. Might not even need it because the wave is pushed up far enough for him to make his way into that brush. Actually, not anymore.
Going to be a reverse, though. Xiaohu's going to the top side and minion wave to be cleared out. I don't know if Bin's spotted. Bin just walked back so instinctively. So maybe just waiting for the wave. Didn't see pings coming through, but at the very least, no response play for now. And even RNG's Wei heads away. Guys, it's so hard casting this guy and saying anything about distance. Wei is standing over there.
Ooh. You know what I'm excited for?
What?
When we get to cast on versus on. You know, IGs do AD carry versus obviously
on versus on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That one will be very, very fun. So, though that's not until week 9, so we got a bit of time.
We've already had Xiaohu versus Xiaolahu. I know because you and I did that. When we get Wei versus Wei, that's always a classic. You know, Xiaohu versus
Xiaohu. When we get Xiaohu versus Xiaolahu, that one will also be fun.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Xiaohu ganking Xiaolahu's lane. As speaking of Xiaohu, he is maintaining his presence around bot. I think for anyone's legend, it doesn't matter what the draft will be. We've seen Xiaohu consistently just plays for the advantage that Betty and Chocho try to find in the bot lane. I know for anyone's legend that Chocho is the primary caller on this team. It was why even when they were known as Rogue Warriors, and it seemed like they wanted to find a better mechanical replacement than him, they always opted to bring him back into the roster because he definitely brings more of a voice. I think that is very clear in the way they play because when he wasn't on the lineup, Maple has Flash. I think he's fine.
Well, we talked about the mid lane matchup a little bit earlier, Lyric. I'm glad it's delivering to a bit because in Game 1, I didn't feel like there was ever a time talking about Tryndamere versus Corki. A Xiaohu versus Maple hasn't been exciting so far, and we just did a huge historic segment on it. I'm really hoping this game we get to talk up these mid laners, that we do get to talk about them earlier than 30 minutes in.
And let's remember, Xiaohu has the best lane stats in the LPL to mid laners. Averaging right now plus 16 at 15 minutes. Ooh, okay, can anyone's legend set this up?
If he doesn't die, he'll definitely hold on to that. Look at the CS difference right now. 58 CS to 74 in the mid lane, even in the bottom lane. Gala supporting some of his own stats right now. Bin in the laning phase too, Lyric. Doing well to the tune of close to 10 CS up. Actually, forget that, guys. The wave is pushing in, so it's pretty much even. But it feels like RNG right now, 400 gold or 300 gold ahead at 8 minutes, purely because of these small individual CS leads.
And now for the side of RNG, they're going to make their way up towards Herald first. Since they kept Ming in the bot lane longer, it means they were able to push that one in since Chocho was already roaming around the map. Yep. So their duo will be able to get there first. Betty now will start to make his way up. So RNG will have a small window where they will have the setup to try to pick people off. They also do have vision laid out. So if someone walks over, you know, blue buff wall or something like that, Ming can try to find the death sentence to set up the pick and guarantee the objective.
But the big thing for me is that Xiaohu still doesn't have the Chaos Storm. He used it on Maple before. For anyone's Legend, the Realm Warp as an angle positioner. If that's even English, it's right on into the middle. Might not matter. RNG take their free food, and once again, I've said that in his second game because anyone's Legend walk into them, and they didn't even use their credit card. RNG with first blood, Herald in the back pocket. That was nuts.
That was just the power of having the vision up on top side. Anyone's Legend trying to brute force their way in through their jungle. Such a small choke point when we hit on. For RNG, your bread and butters, bam, Jarvan goes in, EQ ultimate, and it sets up for the gravity field, the Chaos Storm, the Moonlight Vigil to hit onto multiple members. So for anyone's Legend, feels like you're gonna have to find your way into the choke points through open spaces like mid rather than this. They're trying to force their way in with the hook. So I understand the idea, but there it is. Bam, Cataclysm into the Moonlight Vigil. Xiaohu as well, dropping his E in his gravity field and instantly blowing up Chocho.
Doesn't matter if you don't have the Chaos Storm. They walk towards you, and Wei has a really good reaction play like that. I think Wei deserves a bit of respect for that one, guys. As they pick up the Herald, it means there's gold injection soon coming. But for anyone's Legend, getting a response to the Dragon, the condition that won them game number 1, Lyric, is something important to note that, you know, we're looking at a team composition that, again, you know, wants to fight. We talked about the 1-4 in pick and ban. And getting that first Dragon is a condition that can't be understated.
No. Pretty nice for them, especially when you still do look at their composition. You're like, okay, well, at least later on they do have the Jinx. I do favor what RNG have in the later stages. You have the double hyper carry set up as well as a Jax in the top side. So you also will have the side lane pressure over the Graves, which Finn right now gonna see ZDZ. He's gonna get a bit of aggressive trading going on. Doesn't have to play the seal cap, so a lot of that damage coming out from the Graves is going to be mitigated.
Walks back to lane and continues to try and bully out DDZ a little bit. As for RNG, their focus right now needs to be on Wei. Lyric, Herald where? Is it just an easy mid? Are we popping it for Gala? Like, what is this setup you see on this map where Wei can pop that one down?
I think RNG have been one of the teams that have most preferred to do the rotation towards mid of like, okay, have Jarvan hover towards spot, get your bot lane to move, and then make your way over and start breaking this one down early for early map pressure. They might be looking to do that. The other place where it makes a lot of sense to me would be top, just because of how heavily Bin is winning in this lane. He's not a head in CS, but he's consistently had pressure, and he's also been the top laner to challenge for a turret play, right? We've seen ZDZ showing him a lot of respect up in that top side.
Has been. Let's come back quickly again. I'm going to talk about Xiaohu. Like every other person who's casted RNG, there's a big CS lead still through that mid lane. And I need to point out that, you know, Maple here hasn't been able to Realm Warp proactively. You wanted to see that. You wanted to see Maple move to one of these side lanes and start this ball rolling. And even just, you know, keep safety for maybe the bottom lane that we talked about. So, are you looking for that to happen? Like, you got to walk me through Realm Warp and what I should be expecting from Maple in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, for anyone's Legend, you need to be looking for a timer to bring Xiaohao and Chocho mid to be able to make sure that Maple is able to push out that wave safely. Because in the isolated 1v1, Victor will win. I'm going to pause as potential action might come. But back to my point, right? Maple needs help. Maple cannot do it by himself. He will not be able to win trades, to be able to force the wave push, to be able to make his way down. So we're looking at timers like this, where Chocho is able to make his way towards mid.
Flash. He's got Chocho right next to him out of the gravity field. Maple wants to bring it on. On top of Xiaohu, the Chaos Storm zoning away Maple. And it's a disengage, but hang on. If Maple wants to get out of mid, all you have to do is ask.
And now for the side of anyone's Legend, it's about if they can make the repeat play. But I'm going to stop there because they're looking for a play on bot side. Realm Warp is available for Maple.
And they're so damn deep. Maple not going to drop it down as RNG pay the absolute nothing price. And the mid laner moves away. Maple goes back, and Xiaohu is now going to have a Herald by his side. So it was an aggressive flash lyric. I thought it was brewing into an awesome play, but I don't think anyone's Legend are going to get anything out of it.
Bro, I gotta say, I love when I get to pay the absolutely nothing price. The nothing price, the best price in the world. I know for you especially, you know, that is, oh God.
What are you
saying? That's something that gets you going.
Are you saying I'm a cheapskate, or I'm just, you know?
I am.
Well, thank you so much.
You would admit it. You would admit it. You're a frugal, efficient person.
I like, you know, the good use of money. I don't like throwing anything out. And I also like the fact that, you know, when you... Now I'm just gonna sound like an old man with a bank account.
I've seen you saving change, like put the biggest smile on your face in the world. You save like 25 cents. You are stoked. That is a
Dude,
great day for you.
In Australia, we have this recycling program, return and earn. You get 10 cents per can, like if if it's beer or, unfortunately, it's not wine. What else? Anything like a can of soft drink. For you Americans out there, soda. It's literally 10 cents back. Now, if you have a big night out, guys, I mean a big night, you make a couple of bucks back. That's a beer. That's literally another beer. Anyway, I think this is a PG broadcast, so we'll stop right there. Lyric, Dragon's coming up. Get me out of this hole.
I actually very much enjoyed that. It was a great segue from, again, RNG getting what they wanted for free. If anything, anyone's legend was paying RNG for their recycling, right? So I feel like your explanation hits perfectly. But like you said, Dragon coming up right now. We're seeing RNG trying to force Prio through bot side. Anyone's legend might just brute force their way in, though. Maple is hovering first, so if action happens down towards bot side, anyone's legend will be first to the play, with Maple still having to roam down.
I always love watching a Jarvan and a Thresh hover on top of each other. The all-in potential, the lockdown and the lockout. It's beautiful when it all comes together. But for RNG, being seen on the ward, pressuring out, dropping some of their own. Mid's going to be pushed out, and Lyric, yeah, RNG going to be on this Dragon first. And a very different start to game number 2, with RNG actually completing some objectives and having something to say. Remember game number 1, like, Xiaohao had everything.
And I mean, hey, we're not giving away all of the best champions in the LPL. We're not just being forced to like flash on top of the enemy jinx and get kited out. But this time around, we already hit on how both comps, I'd say, index generally into very similar strengths. I think there are obviously small nuances. What kind of monster can Bin be later on? We're seeing a lot more action from support jungle on the side of RNG. We've questioned maybe getting Chocho and Xiaohao more involved in the mid lane, especially with the fact that Xiaohu's flash is still down. So if you can find time to target that, at least you can start finding picks and opening the map through there. But anyone's legend gonna put down the Rift Herald in mid, so maybe you can break this one down.
Well, if they can, relies on Betty getting some autos here, but Xiaohu's going to wave clear it, so Herald will not get the full damage of the charge, or better yet, not get the turret down is what I'm trying to say. RNG hold on, and Lyric, it does feel like the mid turret is a big one for the Rise to be able to start moving to sides, to be able to start grouping up, or rather, creating those forced scenarios that catch RNG out with the Realm War.
Yeah, I love that you point that out, right? Because even though Bin will be able to win in sides versus members of AL, both of anyone's legends champions feel comfortable sitting in side lanes, right? Graves, you have a dash. Even your collateral damage can be used as a dash. You have your flash. For Rise, gonna feel fine pushing sides, having the Realm Warp to be able to get away. Victor is going to be the odd man out in terms of the side lane situation. So we see now how RNG are covering that up. You're having Wei hover with him when he does need to push this out. If Wei does show somewhere, either further down river or in mid, is your potential chance to either pick Xiaohu off or roam towards mid. Is RNG spot lane not able to find anything.
I mean, I think he's hit
not,
one.
Not good.
So
yes, he did. He has hit, I think, exactly one.
Yeah.
So the one up in topside river where they found the pick. But, you know, RNG just fishing for some kills right now. You don't have any objectives up. Dragon's not there. You aren't seeing Rift Herald. And in terms of mid, we saw what they did, right? Wei leaned with Xiaohu, who was able to push in ZDZ top, so they get first movement towards mid lane. They break down this turret. The whole time, Bin was keeping pressure up in bot side, so now you can have some members lean down there right now if you wanted to keep pushing out, but it looks like Bin as well opting for a reset. And RNG overall just controlling the general map.
Easily. It's a 3k gold lead, and RNG not going to allow this top lane turret to go down. Xiaohu with a quick wave clear and almost a 200 CS victor at 18 minutes. Bin CS is keeping match with ZDZ as well. It bothers me as an Australian saying ZDZ instead of ZDZ, but I know that would tilt some people. And maybe Maple doesn't need to ult Lyric. Maybe Maple just being in the right position and anyone's legend grouping up with him enables a dive, but diving a Victor who's got that much wave clear, it looks difficult.
Oh, and even the other members of RNG are up towards this top side right now. And I want to point out, you know, regardless of which way is cooler or better to pronounce, ZDZ just rolls off the tongue easier.
Yeah, that's true. But
no, that's just it's easier.
And to be fair, you know,
Oh,
when I think about
wait, Hysterics, you might be right.
I might
The
be.
pick top side might still
still
come. These guys are
splash.
patient.
And he's got movement speed, and Chocho, now that he's spotted out, look, RNG like, okay, we'll push mid, we'll push sides, and RNG just going deep into the enemy jungle, getting free vision. So it's only 1 kill. It's 19 minutes into the game. Guys, please, don't lie on your pillow. Something's got to happen soon enough, and it's because Victor and Ryze are back in the game. It's because we have slow AD carries. It's not the explosive game number 1 where you're like, this cop's precarious. It's RNG being pretty clinical at this point in anyone's legend. Getting shut out, but an option on top of Xiaohu. He doesn't take the Dark Passage. He layers down a Storm, but Maple and the big rocket. Holy moly. Where did that big one come from as Way now cornered himself? Flag and drag knocked up in anyone's legend. They're sick of waiting. Gala picks up kill with a dunk down on top of Maple, but he still lives. A flay away. Chocho and Betty sitting in this choke on top of Gala. He can't get him with the flash over. ZDZ's the Graves that doesn't really have a cigar in his mouth. He's got a water pistol. And Bin's taking no damage from Blade of the Ruin King, whacking him down. This stuff right in your face. I could think of nothing worse for ZDZ to go out to. The death sentence would have hit, but never the mind, because RNG somehow win out a fight. That looks so good for anyone's legend.
And there was just so much going on in that skirmish. Hysterics, that should be one of the fights that makes you happy, getting to once again see the strengths of Aphelios when everyone just runs into him. Able to get that max DPS off. We're going to go straight into the play, though. You highlighted here, he chose not to take the Dark Passage. Heck, even Way jumping in, they think they could take this fight, but I think that is going to be a massive regret from RNG afterwards. You could have easily disengaged this play, and at least, even if the fight still happened with Chocho and Betty walking down, he would have been in unison, and here is where we see Betty, Gala, I'm sorry, just absolutely pop off. Did get the Moonlight Vigil down just there, and now we see Betty in a very awkward position. Ming doing a great job of peeling for his AD carry. ZDZ commits, does find a pick, but now that he's locked in here with Bin, even if Ming wasn't here, Bin would have been able to secure this kill. Is just stronger in the 1v1 than the Graves.
Taking no damage. I mean, Bin has a couple of shots to the face and it matters not. So Bin picking up the final kill of the fight. He's got 2 kills now with Divine Thunder complete. Excuse me, I've got a T hiccup. And Lyric, we come back. Second Dragon for RNG after the reset. I'm going to get this little graphic out of my eyes because I want to see the items on Gala. Now, Gala may have failed the flash, bit of a lull, but his positioning in that fight with Infernum was gorgeous. And now a 2-item Aphelios with LDR coming up as the second item. Means it's in the Nautilus, going to be taking a lot more damage. And even the Fimble Winter on Maple is going to be effective with the item that Gala just picked up.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of AD carry, so right, AD carry itemization pretty much even, only an extra pickaxe coming out on his side, so, but hey, 25 AD's nice. Who doesn't love 25 extra ADs? So,
Sure.
Gala gonna benefit off of that one. Xiaohu now at, I'd say, you know, a pretty good level of burst, picking up the, oh my god, the flame item. It escapes me, Hysterics.
Shadow Flame.
Shadow Flame, there we go. Yeah. Gonna be doing a nice amount, getting that flat magic pen, pending on health. Nay, who cares about items in magic pen? Because RNG, they've had beautiful vision control across the map this whole time. If you have a look at the mini map, instead gonna be looking for this Baron. Looks like they just want to bait out anyone's legend.
And Gala's got the perfect crescendo at the ready. Onto Chocho, the Cataclysm's there. Right into the thick of it. Gala holding on the ult for now, but they're in a choke. They're in a choke against Betty. I think for RNG, there's a bit of an overcommittal with a Rise as well. You're going to get blasted here. Bit onto the backline on ZDZ, but collateral damage gets him out just in time for the range. Ming engaged on as well. Anyone's legend still want to take the fight. It's messy as all hell as Gala's ulti once again goes through the goalpost. ZDZ's going to frontline this one for now, but Betty, Maple, all still alive. And RNG get 2 for only 1, but that got real sketchy real fast.
That was... Anyone's legend were trying to like pull RNG around Wolf Pit. It was like ringing around the rosy, like, hey, chase me here. No, come chase me over here. So not able to find the full effectiveness of the fight like they would have liked. Still come out on the winning end in terms of how many people were executed. So that is always super cool for RNG, who are sporting a 4K gold lead, actually, so a lot of that map play is coming into fruition. We're going to see here, RNG went instantly on the Baron, trying to pull them out because they do have vision control on the top side. They go for the engage, the Cataclysm onto the Nautilus. Not quite sure if you needed to commit that heavily, even something like a death sentence or just running in and playing. I feel like having that to then engage onto Betty and Maple in a follow-up situation could have been better. But RNG going to keep it going with Bin on the side, being able to come through the flank. And Xiaohu, doing some massive damage, holding onto his Chaos Storm and his E for so long, was able to turn around the fight in the end.
It's a nice call from you on the itemization. Seeing the Shadow Flame here against a Rise, against the Graves for Shield Bow, against the Xin, Nautilus. Like, this is something that's going to do a lot of work. Get that max magic pen. And for Xiaohu, he's had a pretty good laning phase. It's really showing in these fights. It's really showing from the early damage we've seen on our screens. But I also want to point out that Bin is feeling comfortable enough to play the flanking angle. And Lyric is the 2.5 item Jax who's got 3 kills and a bounty, who's doing a lot more than ZDZ at this point in the game.
And for Bin, this kind of style is what RNG need to do, right? You kind of pick these 1-4 compositions that aren't really about, like, enabling him or syncing up your side lanes. Like, hey, you just go play your own solo game, have a good time, come join the team when we call you when we're trying to set something up, and bam, you get to do your job. For the rest of RNG playing as a 4-man core, the 4-man core that has stayed together from last year and that did win an MSI title. So for RNG now, just about controlling this topside vision. They're putting pressure down on anyone Legends bot by keeping Bin there. They can look for a play if they want to have the Jax push out and threaten Bear at the same time. Maybe try and force a TP out from ZDZ. Keep putting that pressure down on bottom side with Bin, but looks like we might be transitioning down to bot side. Asterix is Dragon. Going to be up in less than 1 minute.
It'll be sole point here for RNG as Ming just puts ward down. Agent 007 making sure that there's no cheeky Baron start. And Lyric again, as we're approaching the middle of this mid-game. It's a mid-mid game, the mid-mid of the mid-game, but for anyone's Legend and RNG, you talk about the similarity in comps, the 4-1s that can come out and how they play out late game. And you did also compliment that RNG, it feels like their scaling elements just reach over the line a little bit more. ZDZ has to be careful of the hook here, but coming back to my point, we are getting to a point where, you know, RNG are continuing to run away with the gold lead, and if comps are similar, then it's very easy to see that RNG, with this continued pace, are favored to take us to a game number 3.
Especially when you have champions like Graves, Zinzao, Rise that are going to be running into the Victor and the Aphelios, right? You can easily drop. Wei might find this.
Well, there's Cataclysm, Insta-Flash away, but the max range Death Sentence, and Bond does it again. On top of Maple, he'll take away the 007 scoreline, but it doesn't matter because it could be the end right here with anyone's Legend walking into a choke. They've already lost 2 people, but Gala going down is huge. ZDZ needs something out of it, though, as Betty on the back line running away from Bin. Insta-Flash with a counter-strike response. Bin may sacrifice his life, but anyone's Legend are on low HP. Ming missing the hook, and RNG actually coming out as an even trade is a benefit to AL.
I mean, AL are so happy with that. Chocho was so massive, finding his way onto Gala. I can't wait to get the replay of that one, but Dragon is up. Both teams still posturing for this objective. Betty trying his best to be able to poke them off, but with Xiaohu still alive on the opposite side, I think this can be a little bit of a rough one. With the members, with Maple coming up soon, Maple will be able to TP in. Anyone's Legend would have numbers advantage. I think RNG might just have to concede this.
Well, it depends. TP being burnt down now. Xiaohao right in the middle of the pit. RNG trying to burst him down. The Chaos Storm right in the middle. Excuse me, the Gravity Field, but a great hook again onto the enemy jungler. Xiaohao gets bursted down. Now there's no smite, but right out back at you with Wei getting the same. The Dragon help it out. RNG win the fight as Gala returns to the Rift. Howdly doodly for 6, 2, and 4 on this Aphelios.
And Xiaohu as well, just being left untouched, being able to put off so much damage in the backline. I thought RNG maybe wouldn't contest the fact that Maple can just TP in. Chocho was already making his way over there, but they go for it. They're going to turn it straight into a Baron, and they're on soul point.
That's what you want to see if you believe in RNG to take us the distance. Soul point, Baron going to be picked up. Bella's about to be 3 items. And RNG going to move ahead by about 7,000 gold in the lead and then some. Lyric, that was so much fun to watch. Wait for this replay because this fight was explosive and it's going to take a long time to play out.
Yeah, and we see RNG commit heavily onto Maple. They're able to take it. Keep your eyes on Chocho here. Chocho comes in, instantly gets on the Gala. I feel like this was so big because if this didn't happen, this fight would have just been RNG wiping anyone's Legend out. We do see RNG able to pick up kills on the backside. They, of course, did catch out Maple, and they're able to finish off Chocho because he sacrifices himself for that pick. Bin trying to continuously go in, is able to get a massive multi-man stun, but still, ZDZ, Betty, he's in between 3 people. He gets kited out, and you highlighted Bin finding the hook instantly into the Jarvan combo, knocking numerous people up. Betty zoning away, Betty getting zoned away by Gala on the opposite side. And it's like, man, the setup was just there. The big problem for AL in that situation is they thought, hey, we can get this. Again, we have people coming out the map, but you are funneled into the small choke point, which RNG can take advantage of so well.
And they're taking advantage of anyone's Legend being so far behind at this point in the game. 8,000 gold. Will count a little bit more, guys, because Bin's knocking down turrets in the mid lane. You can see ZDZ actually having to back off now because he's pushing Spawn, but RNG have taken top inhibit at the base in shambles. RNG still pushing forward, Gala poking them down, and Bin here with the next piece of wave clear. RNG pinging down the mid, Lyric, and I think they're not stopping here. Baron's got a minute 30. This is going to be a massive power play.
Yeah, for RNG, they can even just take it slow as well. They don't care about the other wave. It is all the way pushed back.
Red line.
Too late.
Chocho's going to be knocked right on in. Can he get the ulti off? Yes, he does, but he dies down with it as RNG still have the space they created. Bin absorbs the damage. He's actually stunned up for a little bit, and Betty's doing a lot of damage. Gravity Field comes down. Xiaohu, Chaos Storm on top of the 80 carry, but now he's deep. Does he care? No, he doesn't. He's got Gala behind him. Another volcanic explosion. RNG, 4 members are low, but I tell you what, Royal never give up.
I love watching the Xiaohu Gala combo in team fights. That was just nice coming out. Xiaohu still staying aggressively forward. It's like, bam, drops the E, drops the Chaos Storm. TP coming in. RG want to end.
The flash away. Maple survives for now. Bin didn't have his own up, but I love the TP to the middle of the base. He leap strikes out of there, Lyric, and just wanted to let them know he meant business one more time.
Yeah, the most unimpactful TP in the history of Legends. Probably not true, because there are a lot of TPs that have a negative impact, but this whole play started off, I feel like RNG could have waited for that top lane that top wave to crash in. Sure, that means you might have to wait another wave or two to sync up with a mid wave. We see here them walking aggressively forward, sets up for Chocho to find the hook. They do have a lot of damage down, but still, with that Nautilus ultimate knocking up both Gala and Xiaohu, it buys a lot of time for anyone's Legend to find kills on the retreat. And then this is where things get spicy. Xiaohu locks down Betty. He wants to go for it. Gala has his back. Moonlight Vigil hitting 2 members. Xiaohu able to finish ZDZ off with the Q as well. And things just still going in RNG's way. Now with Dragon up in 1 minute, they're like, hey, let's take the easy win. Let's wait for our soul. Let's get lightning that kills people because it is pretty sweet.
It's sweet because at 10,000 gold and a Hextech soul, you know that we're practically going to a game number 3. Now, for anyone's Legend, with the absolute spunks we've seen from this team, I'm not going to count them out even at 10,000 gold down. And Lyric, the reason why is because I've seen Betty's damage. I've seen what Maple does as well. They need a miracle. Like, they need like a, Lost Island miracle. And I'm talking about, Jack, Kate, all from the famous TV show. They land on an island somehow unscathed and go through a miraculous experience. And there's a lot more to that show as RNG not going to give them that. Instead, they're the others. Maple going golden, but Ming actually burnt out into the backline. Xiao just wants to take down the Thresh, but it's such a hard job. He's saved by Gala, who Gale forces forward as well. RNG aren't given an eye to this enemy team. Anyone's Legend or anything but in this game. RNG smacking them with a pole. Bin with yet another leap. And look at them all standing strong. Game 3 on the horizon in very heroic fashion.
Yeah, I love seeing the drive adaptation from RNG to set up this win. They come out strong. And it feels like they've been in control of this game the whole time. RNG, surprisingly, being the team that needed to bounce back to pick up a win against anyone's Legend. Not something I necessarily thought I'd say today, but I'm lying, Serix. The second I knew I was casting 3 series, I knew I was going to get a 9-hour day. But that doesn't matter. RNG, Xiaohu looked cracked. Ming, especially, man, he was hitting hooks left and right. He showed no